welcome back from that break. This is still the AM Club coming to you live from the Mix24 studios. Oleander Street is Lagos, Accra, Ghana. We're super excited to come back to you with a big conversation. This conversation is so big. First of all, I am highly disappointed, but also I'm glad that I sit here to be able to get into these conversations and hopefully get a solution to it. So I'm going to tell you all about it pretty shortly. But before we get into that conversation with Jibu Water, staying refreshed has never been easier. Jibu Water provides clean, healthy water you can trust as your go-to source for drinking and cooking. With options of our innovative 20-liter bottles that come with a tab and 18.9-liter bottles, your dispensers will have a breath of new life as our clean and hygienic Jibu Water flows through them for your consumption. Now, for that purchase you want to make for your family and your loved ones, call us on 020-9845-817. Of course, for bulk purchase as well, call us on 020-9845-817 or visit our website at www.jibuco.com/gh for more information about our brand, Jibu Water, a better life. Now, this Valentine's Day, Telesa has got something exciting for you. He says, don't miss out. Just don't miss out. Don't let that boy break your heart. Don't. So listen to me. This Valentine's Day is about to hit different, very differently, okay? Forget boring dinners. By the way, I just want to say that dinners are not boring, but okay, we're not doing that this year, okay? And the same old teddy bears. Those teddy bears are relevant, but I mean, why do you want a teddy bear? Okay, why do you want a teddy bear? Well, Telecel is shutting down the University of Ghana Athletic Oval with the biggest campus party ever. Telecel turn up on the 14th of February. Black Okweku, Smoke Kitty, and more pulling up to rock the stage. It's getting, of course, this is giving Dirty December in February. Okay, so we're getting it in February, all right? This Val's Day, the mission is simple: no FOMO, no fear of missing out, no FOMO. Connect to love, pass through the cashless bazaar on February 13th and 14th and shop your favorite vendors using Telecel Cash. Smooth, easy, cash free. Follow Telecel Ghana for more updates about this event. Telecel has got you covered on this one, okay? Well, back into the studios to have our conversation for this morning. Today we're discussing the recent rise in Galamsey, the silent killer. Aren't you surprised that we're having this conversation in 2026? Well, I am. We're hoping that in 2026, if we ever wanted to touch on this conversation, we would say we've made a lot of progress and we have come to a point where our waters and our food crops are safe. But I'm telling you, the opposite is the case, okay? Well, joining me for this conversation this morning is Patience Tay, environmental activist, and VT Albert Tete, CEO of Verbal Transformers and Social Reformer. Good morning, my lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's good to have you in the studio this morning.
Thank you for
And I'm very honest about what I said earlier. I was hoping that in 2026, if we wanted to touch on this conversation, it'll be that we've made progress. It'll be that, our waters are getting back, because in 2025, there were conversations that government was intervening by bringing in some sort of a technology to, give us back our water looking blue. And Blue Water Gata at the venues and all these NIMOs and co are supposed to be working. But here we are, having the conversation again. But then this time, it's getting worse. So I want to just quickly find out from any of you who wants to pick it up, okay? We're calling it the silence killer. Is it because it creeps on us unnoticed, or is that we have normalized, the menace? I'm going to start from me. Let me start from you. Yeah.
Okay, good morning once again and Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year to you
we're
too.
talking about Galamsey being a silent killer. I think it will come from the point where we've normalized and monetized evil, where we don't even check the aftermath of what we're doing. So for many people, because it's not like a pandemic where it hits us and we're looking at like how COVID was recorded and all, so we are not getting the numbers reporting that, oh, this thing is causing this, these are the effects of this, but we see once in a while. Because our immune systems are built differently, and the way something would would degrade your system, the time taken will not be the same for someone else. So it is happening, it is manifesting, but for those who have weaker systems are showing it for earlier. So you even have even the people in the pits. Some of them have their hands eroded and all those stuff. Some of them are having issues with their health and all, and they are visiting and they are taking drugs and all. So it's like they are managing the system. But because they've been engulfed in the whole thing, and you know when you are exposed to an illegal activity and you can make money on the go, it's just like hitting armed robbery. You hit someone's house, and you can just come back with like 5,000 Ghana cedis for a night. What work is going to pay you for a night like that? So to take someone out of that, that is why reformation is needed, to reprogram the person's mind to now align with the norms or the usual way of life. So being a silent killer is, we know this is killing, but then everyone is just turning a blind eye on that. And that is why for the people who are ignorant are also going to be affected. So that's the silent killing. It's just like a silent assassin.
So in your opinion, is that we've normalized it?
We've normalized and monetized.
Oh, it's not just normalized it, we've monetized it, indeed. Indeed. Patience, what do you think?
I also agree that it is a silent killer, and not because there's not a lot of outrage and there's not a lot of action around Galamsey. A lot of the policy that have been implemented, I don't know if anyone has seen the expose that Joy News did on the DCE. Yes. We've seen that it has been made systematic. And the district level and the district assembly is benefiting from it.
People are actually benefiting from this
Exactly. That is why there's not a lot of action. We can make so many policies, you can create so many policies. But as long as the people who are in government are not doing anything in regards to fighting it, we are not going to.
We're not going anywhere.
We are not going to progress.
So you also agree that it's been normalized?
Yeah, it has been normalized.
So again, it's resurging. I mean, a couple of years, say about 2 years ago, we saw some level of progress. So they'll tell you that, oh, I know you people are on the ground, so you know better. But we on the outside who are not in the pits or are not in the areas where, you know, these things are happening, we have seen progress in the sense that some people are having the conversation. In my opinion, the conversation being had alone and all the activism around it and all the people hitting the streets, demonstrating, is progress. That we have started really seeing the effect of this thing, to the point where people who are supposed to be sitting in their offices and driving nice cars says, no. People are dying, and in the next couple of years, we're going to be importing water, so we're not going to sit in our offices, we're coming outside to come and protest. I thought that was progress, and that's like a good step. But it's resurging now. I mean, we're talking, there has been awareness. I just spoke about awareness. I'm going to talk about technology. Policy response is even louder now. Why are we going back to this in 2026? Hearing again that it's gotten worse. I'm going to start with you, T.
Okay, so the whole point is, I have very young, but then it's because irrespective of the fact that we're young doesn't mean we lack knowledge or we lack wisdom. And we've taken our time to assess the years, because it's just like going through your year of study and all that stuff. We are people who went to school and we've been taught to think critically, but then you find people exiting the university and even doing post studies and all that, but coming back and they are just clouded or blinded by party colors, so they refuse to think. Another way is just like the enemies of the people, just like Thomas Sankara said, are the ones that keep them ignorant. So it means government will do whatever they have to do, or politicians will do whatever they have to do to have the ignorant masses still being ignorant over the time. It's just like someone told us that if they do it, or what next would they tell you that they're going to be doing? So it's just the same cycle. So they keep you in the same cycle and they come back recycling your problems and giving you promises as to how they're going to solve them.
When in actual fact they will not.
Yeah, so for some of us that have not been bought into this system or this cycle, we analyze and we are not just moved by headlines. So you can hear of the policy, but as to whether it's been effected is another thing. So they can tell you that we've passed these laws, but when you go into it, the people who are supposed to enforce the law are rather the ones who are the catalyst to even make sure that the thing goes on very well and smoothly so that no one hears about it. So for me, I've never been moved by policies. I've never been moved by the words politicians speak. I want to see actions. I want to see results. And when you tell me that you're doing something, I should be able to ask more questions. And that is how the way of life is. But then just as I mentioned, many people refuse. You see, one of the greatest errors you have to do in life is not to avail yourself for investment, which is self-investment. As to whether you were in class or not, you've been taken to school or not, one of the key things you would have to do is to keep your mind alive to assess situations.
Sure.
And that is what many people are not doing in our part of the world, and especially in Africa. So you find politicians saying anything and they go away with it. And that is why we've been cycling all this mess, and we have the people monetizing and normalizing evil.
So it's going to continue like this.
It's going to continue
if we don't take actual action.
Actual actions. That is, we realizing the power of the people. Because the power of the people is far greater than the people in power. We put them in power for them to serve.
Tell them.
So if the people in leadership today are not using the power to our benefit, but to their benefit, that is being selfish, and that is how it's being quoted by Thomas Sankara, champagne for a few and not good or potable drinking water for all, then it becomes an evil trend. And then we would have to target the head. Because once you strike the head, the flock will scatter. So if we are directing things or our anger towards the presidency or the government or the president of the country, it's not because people, like how ignorantly people say that Galamsey is happening somewhere else and protests are happening in Accra. But the head offices are right here. The leaders, the enforcers of the laws are right here. So if we are not doing that, then it's an error. Because once we go into the pits, one of the reasons that Galamsey is still ongoing is because the financiers are not in the pit. And many of them are people who were either once in government or still in government. And the whole cycle keeps going on and keeps... And these are people who are also part... So it's a two-way system. They are financing Galamsey, and also some could also be financing party. So if you are going to eliminate that sector in your whole system, it means you are losing two things. People who
but this is very serious allegations, though.
So that's why I say could be. It could be. Because if you are resisting or hesitating, when, like with the expose that was what was made public yesterday, and we still don't, in a serious country, right after we hear those stuff, we should even be promised that something is being done ahead of time. Whether it was presented to you ahead of time or not, we should have a response. Then this morning I see from it came from the DCE's office that they're actually telling you that this is something that started in 2018. So they want to tell you that it even started way before them. And then are you trying to say you have normalized, just like we say armed robbery?
Well, we've seen a lot of normalization going on in the last 48 hours, from politics to this. So, unfortunately, if the president is very serious about resetting and doing what he said he would do, then he's got a lot of work on his hands. We pray for him. Now, still on the conversation, have you seen the work of 9 months so far? Are you impressed?
No.
Oh.
After the expose, I'm not even... I mean, initially when I saw the arrests and the, what do you call it, raiding the mining concessions, I always asked, but the people who are financing them are not in the pits. The people who are protecting them are not in the pits. As long as we go after the operators that do not finance or that do not protect these concessions, we are not really treating the disease. We're only treating it. Exactly. So I don't think I've ever been impressed. On my Twitter, I've always said, oh, like you people are arresting operators, but you're not going after the people protecting them. Because when they are mining beside roadsides, when they are mining beside infrastructure, right? When they are mining on water bodies, their machines are loud. You can't tell me they don't know what is happening. You can't tell me they don't know what is happening. They know.
Does it frustrate you? Because you sound very frustrated.
I'm very frustrated. Aww. I'm very, very frustrated because our future is at stake.
Indeed.
The future of our environment is at stake.
Indeed. Indeed.
So I'm very
Indeed.
frustrated.
Well, so we'll stay on environment a little bit because Patience has gotten into the mood for me, so we're going to stay with her a little bit. So what does the current rise in Galamsey mean for our water bodies? And then I wrote this down carefully because I just don't want to miss some of these. So first of all, on our water bodies, especially communities that depend solely on rivers for survival.
It's affecting their livelihood. They are struggling to get water. A lot of these communities that have been impacted by Galamsey are struggling to get clean water. They have to walk long distances to get water. They have to pay a lot of money to be able to fill their their buckets and their water bins.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's affecting their livelihood. Aside from that, so it's contaminating their water bodies with mercury, cyanide, and other toxic chemicals. And I think I've seen research on what mercury and other toxic chemicals is doing to the water bodies and is doing to the people living in those communities. And they are being poisoned. We are seeing a rise in a lot of cancer and kidney-related cases in those areas. We're also seeing a lot of, I think, babies being born with birth defects. A lot of pregnant women losing their children because of the toxic chemicals that are in our water body. So it's impacting them.
Now, so at what point, right, does environmental destruction become a national security issue? Because you remember when we spoke about it the last time, we said that it was a national security threat, and people were saying, I know you cannot say that, of course you cannot say that. But at what point, as an environmentalist, at what point does this conversation become, have we gotten there yet though, by the way?
I think we have gotten there.
We've passed.
We've passed it. I don't know when we're going to decide that this is a national security threat. Because our main river bodies, River Pra, River Nkobra, they are all contaminated. They all look brown. So, like, when does it become a national security threat? When?
Whilst you're staying on that, the president still doesn't think that he has to declare a state of emergency. Against Ceylon, at what point do we call this a national security threat? When do you want to tell him that he should start deciding? Because he said the security apparatus haven't advised him yet that is a national security threat. They're still curbing the issue, they're still managing. We still have in his exact words, maybe not in the exact words, but not quoting him verbatim. He said that I have not been advised by my security agencies, and also, we have options to explore. We haven't explored them completely, so there's no point in jumping right into this declaring state of emergency. Still on the national security threat conversation, what do you think?
In the previous administration, when I was participating in a lot of protests around Galamsey. Yeah, I was shouting in the
girls on the
megaphone.
streets. Ooh.
Yeah, I was shouting in the megaphone and everything. Stop Galamsey. But like at that time, we asked the president at that time to declare a state of emergency. So what is different now? Our river bodies are still polluted. The major river bodies are polluted. We are seeing that rivers are drying up. At Cape, I think there's a river at Cape 3 Points is dried up. We are seeing that there is a rise in cancer cases and kidney cases. 24,000 Ghanaians a year is impacted by these diseases. Where is it coming from? We are seeing doctors come out to speak about the rise in the number of birth defects. So I don't know when we're going to declare this a national security threat. He needs to declare a state of emergency before it gets. I mean, it's already terrible, so I don't know. Before it gets out of hand, I don't know.
If it's not already gotten out of hand.
It's out of hand.
It's crazy that we're having this conversation. I've never used this word here before, but I mean, when I think about it and I look at the passion you both speak with, it's amazing that all of a sudden we're forgetting about this conversation. Nobody's talking about it until yesterday, until the expose. Nobody's talking about this conversation again. In fact, the people that had brown water bottles on their tables on television in the mornings talking about this are all busy.
The truth is, you're not busy. We were here last year because we did some partnerships with government agencies and all. We had endorsements and all. But that shouldn't hold me back from speaking the truth to power, because that is how I started, that to stay truthful. And other people looking up to you, other people being inspired. I've been on television, and right after exiting, you find people parking their cars and said, we've watched you and want to meet you just to see you because of how truthful you are. It has happened over the years. So imagine such persons. Then after a while, they see you now siding with government when government is wrong. I don't think that is the best way of life. We should be able to execute things and execute them excellently. Because for a country like Ghana, we're so blessed beyond measures that this country, we can get to a point, we should have been at a point where we are not paying our utility bills. We are not paying for even medical bills. It should be highly subsidized for us because of how blessed we are. Anywhere you dig, you see gold, you see this, you see diamond, you see this and that. But we were driving from Kumasi to Obuasi. We drove by faith because the roads back then, we drove by faith because it was so dusty that it looked like 5 people driving. You all have to be watching out. And it was terrifying because look at this community or this society blessed with so much natural resources, but don't even have roads. Look at the livelihood of the people, and their lives are at stake. If we young people, sometimes I sit back and how painful it becomes is, how then are we going through a system that tells us that we have to be excellent when we go through schooling and all, young people would have to be a blessing to their society and humanity. Then we find the people who lectured us are now being partisan because they've been given positions. It hurts so much. So now it corrupts me automatically. And that is how come politicians have now gone into our campuses to now start it very early. So you leave school, irrespective of how knowledgeable or full of wisdom you are, you will need to bootlick someone for the person to hold your hand and not even putting you in a position where you can contribute to the state's progress. But then you become a PA somewhere, you become someone who is just stacking papers and offices just because they want you to be in, because they use you and misuse you when it's time for politics. And that is politics. So
that's what's happening with all our activists that used to be on television.
Many of them have had, because of office, and I'm saying that because I studied engineering, then I'm also very active in the creative arts sector, very active in many other sectors, playing key roles. But then, before someone gives you a contract, they are looking at how close you are to them, not the best fit for it. So it is about how the opportunities are available. And because the next person, I'm looking at her, and I want to post on social media because I want to show off, and that is the standard. That, I am the one who is meeting presidents, I'm the one who is meeting ministers and all those stuff. But then if you have values, if you have standards for life, you will know that certain things do not matter. Meeting people and having engagements with people and all those stuff are just a part of life. It's a way of life. It shouldn't hold me back when truth has to be spoken. And that is why I speak it. And I have times where contracts have been cancelled. You are in the process, it's even signed and everything, and they tell you, you see the email, we humbly regret to inform you that I don't care about that because we are thinking of the masses. It is humanity, and we, even in a creative art aspect, whatever we do as creatives have to be a blessing to the people. So who are the people? The consumers of our craft, the appreciators of our craft. If they are lying in hospitals and all that, and they are going through terrifying times, and they're supposed to be spending so much on medical bills, how are they going to intend support the creative art sector? So a whole lot of things are going in a mess because someone needs a favor from someone. But then
So we stop talking.
you stop talking. Why would you stop talking?
Anyway.
And this is affecting people in other sectors. So we should wise up as young people. We should wise up as industry players and not be carried away by just the favors we get because a political party is in the system. And when they are out of the system, then we are on a hold. So we give them their all just because we are expecting them to also give us back. And that's how the cycle has been. It's just sad like how young people, we enter into a space. The very first thing we are going to look at is who is holding an iPhone. Then if everyone is holding an iPhone, then are you holding the latest iPhone? to the extent that people have now captioned their airdrops or their Bluetooth. It is supposed to be like Miriam's iPhone 17. It is so much, we've been pushed into a sector.
This is happening, guys.
It is happening. It's so
It's happening.
real.
I want to look at you as an old man and look at them.
No.
Because the guys over here are below 30.
It's
true.
happening.
It's happening. Kyle,
It's happening.
Momsen. Is that what you are doing here?
Exactly. So if a basic asks this, imagine if they're given some offers to do something evil in society, they won't hesitate. Because they've been broke shamed somewhere, and now we're using the state of people. But then you should also check your state. Because for her, maybe she had grandparents who have set the tone, and she's enjoying the fruits of their labor. I am breaking a cycle in my family, so I am building now. I shouldn't be competing with someone who it was built like two decades ago. So that is where we find ourselves.
Still on the conversation of Galamsey, guys, if you're just joining in, we're talking how bad the conversation on Galamsey has become. There is an expose. I don't know if we have the video. If you have the video, you can share with us. If not, just go online. There is a video that is circulating.
Yeah.
An expose done by Joy.
News.
Yeah, Joy News. We want to give them great job there. Great job there. You are one of the few platforms still advocating for this conversation. Now, so as regular citizens, I'm going to come back to you, Patience. You have been an activist. You're just revealing to us that you've been on the streets, girls. I'm proud of you. I have not had to hit the streets. But what is the responsibility of ordinary citizens in amplifying this conversation beyond protest, beyond social media activism? What could we do to make sure that at least we're getting some progress? And I'm saying this also beyond policies, because you said it well. The conversation is beyond policy. Set policies, but make it happen. So what do we do beyond all of these things that I've mentioned?
I think
as a regular citizen.
Okay, I think as a regular citizen, we should.
As an ordinary citizen, let's not say.
Okay, as an ordinary citizen, we should be involved in criticizing or analyzing, basically, government's policies. We should. I think the protest and the advocacy is a good step. Yes, so that is what we as ordinary citizens can do. We don't really, I mean, we have a lot of power, right? But we don't have as much power as the executive and as the government body that we put in power to represent our interests. So what I can say is that we just have to be advocacy. Yeah. I think that's all we can
advocacy, and to see actions.
Yes.
Do we call for, again, still in the advocacy tone, we've called for the arrest of the right people. That was happening in the Eswa government. It is still happening today. 9 months is still going after the young people in the pit. We are forgetting that 2 factors contribute to what's happening over there: poverty and lack of jobs. So when we're talking about this conversation, we're looking at these 2 very highly contributing factors. When you take them out of there, why are you taking them? That's why you see them coming back into the pit. When you take them out of the pit, the person who's paying them, their paymasters, will tell them that all they want from you is people to walking around without a job. But I'm going to give you back your job. So he would go up there, go and sort himself out, and bring back the people that usually are arrested and put back behind bars. So education is also some education of the. And I was telling my colleague this morning that education, but I think the education bits, we have to be very clear on what kind of education, who does the education. Because you can talk all you want, but these boys need jobs. They need food to eat. Very sad video I saw, but I should have actually mentioned for you guys to get me the video. I sent it to someone. A young boy of 11 years old. You've seen Kobe Chase video.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
This boy is doing Galamsey at 11 years old because his mom has stroke and he has to take care of the mom. So if you're taking a boy like this out of the pit, what are you giving to him? If you're putting him back in school, who is going to take care of him in school? Who's going to feed the sick mom? So there are fundamental issues that are actually encouraging Galamsey to go on. And if we don't put up, the right structures, the fight is lost. I'm telling you, the fight is lost, in my opinion. So that's my take. But I'm going to ask a big question and then we'll leave, okay? So the big question for us today is are we fighting Galamsey seriously, or we're simply managing the damage and hoping it goes away? What do you think?
I think we're not fighting it seriously. We're just playing mind games. And mind games in the sense that we're just doing what the people want to see, what the people want to hear. So just as you mentioned, there are so many basic things that have not been done in this country. And that is accumulating is what is making people go into other stuff. And I also centered this on, just like I mentioned, the iPhone bit. We have, for every success, there's a process. We have exposed people to a way of life that now living a simple life is just like living in a devastated state. But then we should be actually amplifying this, that it is also excellent to live a simple life. When you want to take people, when you want to change the state of a person and change the estate of the person, you would have to change the state of mind of the person. And that is what you mentioned, that the education of the person is necessary. We took people from processes that lead you to excellent success to now shortcuts that lead you to successes, which is what? Not good success. And that is why people in villages are not able to go through the processes they used to go through and appreciate them. Because someone who was maybe into cocoa farming now has been exposed to another means of making so much in a day. And it's looking like farming is not a lucrative business. It's because still the basic structures have not been done. If we have like a railway, I saw a plantation, a plantain harvester who has harvested so much and is going to go waste just because of transportation. So this is where we have to come to play, where we have to know that the seriousness in fighting for even the basic needs of our land is not done. And if we are not able to do that, then Galamsey, we are just playing with it.
We're playing with it. Yeah. Patience, your final words.
I don't know if we're even managing it because.
Oh wow.
No, I don't
You're
think.
brutal.
I don't even think we are managing it.
Not.
Yeah, we are making the situation worse because per the expose, they are still mining on our river bodies. We've seen so many videos of people using their tank fangs on the river bodies and they are polluting it. So I don't know if we're even managing it. I don't think we are managing it. We are right now. We are profiting off of it. That's what it is.
Even these new people, right?
I think people at the local level, because from the Joy News expose, I think the investigative journalists paid money into the internally generated fund for that district assembly. So we can see for the district level, we are profiting off of the destruction of our environment. So I don't know if we're managing it.
And the money is going where?
That
To the pockets of the DCs.
That is another thing you have to ask.
And government is supposed to have given them funds to run the districts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so since we have a government that happens to say that they are listening government and they are actually firing people and removing people from their position, let's see how this goes. Let's see how they treat this particular issue. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm trying not to be emotional at all about this conversation. I don't tire, my back they pain me for this Galamsey matter. But I think that, like you rightly said, we should just keep advocating, activism, protesting, talking until someone hears what we're saying. Guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Now, to you out there, like I keep telling you, we're learning and growing together on this platform, and it's imperative that we add our voices to conversations like this, and that's why MX24 is always going to be the love of my life, because we have relevant conversations. The conversation continues online, mx24online.com. Of course, on all our social media platforms, MX24GH, MX24GH, or MX24TV on X. Let's get talking, okay? Let's get talking. Let's keep adding our voices to these big conversations. Let's have an impact this year. Let's get some results. It's becoming heartbreaking, really and truly. But yes, let's keep talking about these conversations. We have more here on the show. We'll be right back after this.